The Weddings by Annabel podcast. This is the whys, not just the whats, behind weddings. Based in the UK's Cumbria and the Lake District, me and others invite you to join a conversation about the highs and lows, the delights and the concerns faced by anyone planning a wedding. Hi, and welcome to the Weddings by Annabel podcast. I'm so excited because I'm actually joined by other people. It's not just me rambling into a microphone. Yay! Joey, Matt, can you please introduce yourselves?
Go on, Matt. Do the honours.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn, man.
Well, we are two parts or half of the Hustle, wedding party band extraordinaires, and we're also full parts and all the parts of Dirtbag Entertainment, where we look after a bunch of high energy, kick-ass, awesome bands and deliver them to awesome weddings around the country. Hello.
Easy.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. We're just saying, like, it's so nice that technology can do this because you're obviously a million miles from me, but here we are.
It felt like a million miles on Saturday, Annabel, when we were driving up to the Lake District, and it was bank holiday weekend, and I think every accident in the motorway was on our journey. Yeah, it was a long drive up on Saturday.
And there's no easy way into the lakes.
No.
Like, there's so many blimmin' fells and lakes in the way that there's no easy access.
I don't mind the journey most of the time. I hate driving south normally, but because you have to pass if you go near Birmingham in any way, it's like a vortex of hell that just sucks you in, and there's always traffic no matter what. Normally going up north, like I feel quite cool with and enjoy it quite a lot. But on a bank holiday weekend with all the stuff going on, I was stressing out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but it's cool. Everything went fine. Everything's good.
It's all good.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I was at a wedding where the pizza guys called to say we're going to be an hour and a half late. Like, oh pants. Okay. But there's no avoiding it. I'm blessed because my commute into lakes, I go past 3 lakes on my way to work.
Oh, lovely.
I know. So I have to remind myself to kind of stop and go, I was out the window like a right geek. I go, morning, beautiful, just to make sure. I recognise, Annabel, look where you are. This isn't just any normal route. This is bloody lovely.
It's stunning.
So,
yeah. It was stunning when the sun's out. It's lovely. Very different when it's raining, isn't
it? Very grey. But then, you know what we call it around here? Then it's moody.
Ah.
Tactical.
It sounds, yeah. It makes it sound a little bit more interesting than just, it's a bit grey. No, it's moody. The lakes are moody. That's much interesting. Much nicer. Okay, so we're basically talking about the kind of entertainment side behind weddings and specifically the music element to a wedding, which I think is like food, drink, music. For me, big hitters.
It's the fun bit, right? I mean, maybe we're absolutely massively biased, but it's really the fun bit. And I think for us as well, we kind of noticed that it's the bit where couples really get to like put their personality into the day. Music means a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of couples will. We hear it all the time when couples are speaking to us or they want a band. Almost every single message will say, music means so much to us. We love it so much and we want to get it right. Which is why, it's such a massive part of the day, whether you have a band or don't have a band or whatever you do, people do want to get it right. And they get to get their personalities across in whatever way. So it's dead fun.
Yeah.
I think it's as well, like, and you see it, it's the moment where the bride and groom get to let their hair down properly. You know, because we always
all the
have
important stuff's out the way.
Exactly. We always have a chat before the first dance, and it's like, look, you just got to do this bit now, guys, and then you can party. And you can just see once that first dance is done and everyone joins them, the relief, and then their arms are in the air and they're just partying, and then from then on, it's just
all day they've been told where to go, where to stand, what to do this, and then after that, it's like now you can have proper fun. And for us, as having that as a job. So sick. Like, I have to pinch ourselves sometimes because we get to come in like and really bring the thunder, and this is where all the fun happens. So, yeah.
I always say the first dance is my favourite part of any wedding. And often people then reply back to me saying, yeah, because that's normally when you've finished. I'm like, no, don't be so rude. No. It's because I know then we have done everything. The day's gone brilliantly, and look how flipping happy they are. So it's always, it gets me every time. I love it. Like, I'm gutted if I'm not part of the crowd watching the first dance, because I want to see that bit. Like, it's lovely.
But it's
even
a special
when they're
moment, yeah.
like hella awkward and they're just like loosely holding on to each other and shuffling around. Like, I don't care, because I know in a minute when you've got this awkward bit out the way, oh, like you say, the relief and the joy that then comes out of everybody. You're like, yes.
It's so interesting that everyone else gets that relief, because for us, it's definitely the calm before the storm, where we're so locked in because we know from then on the next few hours are going to be absolutely chaotic, and like this is the calmest it's going to be until the rest of the night, basically. And we're so focused because often we're playing the first dance live as well. It's a song that's not normally in the set. There's a lot of pressure. It's the first time anyone's hearing us. There's like, but for everyone else, it's like, oh, relief, we can party now. But we're on a different end of the scale in a little way, because like that's when our work starts almost. So it's pretty
you know what, as
strange.
well, the first dance, like now you said it like that, Joey, as well. I kind of think it's the moment where stuff can go wrong in a set. Stuff can go wrong with equipment. There's a lot of stuff going on. Though that 3 minutes when you're playing that first dance is kind of the one time when nothing can go wrong equipment wise.
Yeah,
all
my
needs to be
relief comes
perfect.
in when we go into the first song after that.
Yes,
I'm like, we're in now.
And you're like, oh, now we're into normal mode.
Yeah.
Right, now. Did it.
Yeah.
Survived it.
Pretty
And a couple
much.
are the same. And everybody's like, oh, did it. So I had a couple of little questions to throw in there that I think, well, I find interesting, so I'm going to ask them. What is it? So you said, obviously, the moments that you like most, but why? What is the best bit of your job, do you think? I mean, obviously, you like playing music, but is there a part of your job that you enjoy the most?
There's so much we could think about. What would you say, Matt?
There's two moments that first come to my head. The first one, and I know we'll discuss this later on as well more, but like the moment where you get the people that are stood at the back of the dance floor not wanting to dance, because we see them all the time when they step on the dance floor. It's like, yes, we've got you. You see, there's always people that just like are a bit, and I see them as a bit of a challenge to like, we'll win you over. We'll make sure everyone's dancing before the end of the night.
And we'll make you dance.
But the moment at the end of the night, I think is special for me all the time, when, we normally do the last song and it's like great, and we're packing up or whatever, and the bride and groom, when they come over and it's like, it's all hugs and it's like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We regularly hear like, you made the night, you made it, this was so special, thank you so much. It's just getting that thank you and seeing their faces, and like, we've had grooms in tears hugging us and stuff like that. It's lovely.
Everybody in the world is looking for validation.
Yes,
everybody.
We're musicians.
You want to do a job,
like we're all about
pat
getting
me
praise.
on the back,
like...
cheer me. I need to know this was good. Yeah. We all do it, I think, because we all care.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to know that the effort, life for me is effort to reward. So if you're putting in the effort, you want to know. You want to know, yes, it was worth it. All the effort was worth it. Yeah. Cool. What's the most difficult part of your job?
That's God. There's so many difficulties that come along with everything that we do. But I would say as well, before we start kind of like moaning or ranting or whatever it would be, there's nothing we've not been able to overcome or solve. And even if things are difficult on a night, like it's just part of the job, and we accept that those are those
very
things.
Professional of
So
you.
I just put caveat everything. I've done that bit now. Now we can moan about stuff.
I'm gonna whinge, but honestly, we're cool. We're managed.
I would say maybe not the most difficult, but just something that we've accepted as part of the job, and it is what it is traveling. It's just something that you just have to do. We just have to drive about and do things, and sometimes there's traffic and it's a pain, and sometimes load-ins are horrible, sometimes the parking isn't great or whatever, but it's just part of the job. But it's just no one likes it. No musician likes that part of it. You try and make it as fun as possible by maybe putting a podcast on like this that we're listening to or whatever, or stopping off for a coffee on the way. But it's just the necessary evil of getting to these places. And venues are in weird places, or sometimes marquee in the middle of a field where the Google Maps doesn't take you to where it is, and you're having to ask someone in the village of like, where the hell am I going? Happens quite
Have
often.
you used what 3 words?
Yes, so couples have saved our bacon a couple times by actually sending us that ahead of time.
Yeah,
There's been
yeah,
a few where there's no chance we would have found the spot if we hadn't have had the what 3 words thing.
yeah.
So
It's the weather thing. I remember the first wedding I ever did. So this would be like 13 years ago now, and we had horizontal rain. It's by a lake. Like, it was just a nightmare. And the band's access, they had to come in through a field, and they got stuck. So I had to send waitresses out to go and push the van out of the mud to just get the band in. And so everybody showed up covered in mud. They'd just been absolutely sprayed and soaking wet. I was like, oh God, oh, I'm so sorry. But there's nothing you can do. And, because you've got to go through those bits and the crap travel and the, all these bits to then go, okay, we'll learn, but also accept this is going to happen.
I think sometimes as well, it makes the show better for us. Like,
because you've had a bit of laugh.
You've had a laugh, you've gone through it. And I don't think we've ever been in a scenario where like we've got really annoyed or angry about a situation. We've been through most things, but like we've even preempted a lot of stuff. Like, well, if this happens, we do this, and if you can't get there for this reason, we can do this while we're waiting, and all these things are sort of, worst case scenarios go through our heads. So like we kind of know that nothing can stop the party, if you know what I mean. It's always going to happen, when you go through that, and then everyone's on the dance floor having a great time, and it's a good party. It's like, yeah, it was all good. It's all fine.
Yeah,
it always makes me laugh of couples that would never know the things that go on behind the scenes of like what the band have gone through to like get there, because they just walk in the room and it's all set up and everything's great, but we may have gone through absolute hell that day just to make that happen. But that's what you get paid for. If it was as easy as I could click my fingers and turn up at the venue and my guitar's plugged in and I'm ready to go, well, then that's not really like a job then, is it? So
no.
Yeah.
You're not quite Elton John level.
Not quite.
Like, here's my rider, I'll see you there. Nope, we're going to get stuck in traffic, guys.
We regularly say like the performing side of things, like we do that for free. Like, we love those 2 hours that we're playing and playing tunes and partying like that. Yeah. That's actually, it's the traveling, the loading in, the learning things, the equipment, the setting everything up and all that. And then in reverse as well, that's the hard work.
Afterwards, I always feel for bands and anybody working the bar, because I just think you're there at like the rough end of it.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired. Everything's grubby. Like, I'm not normally there.
Yeah.
I've run away by then.
Those beautiful venues that people book and see and go to weddings at, we've seen those beautiful venues in some messy states. Like broken glass all over the floor and drinks spilled everywhere, flowers pulled down, sick in the corner. We've seen it all.
Yeah, I'm so pleased I can usually avoid that bit. Ooh. Why do you think, here's another question, why do you think a good band or the music is important?
Now we're talking.
I guess, can you imagine a wedding without it? Like, if there just wasn't anything, it would just be like nothing. I mean,
it's like conference.
Yeah, it would
it's like networking.
It would be. It's everything. I mean, again, massively biased, but it's that spark, it's that energy. It's really what kind of like sets the night off, whether it's a band or a DJ or whatever it would be. It's where the whole thing kind of comes together. And it's the bit that a lot of people really look forward to, couple, but guests included as well. We talked about the couple being told where to go, where to stand, or what to do. Guests might have had like a long journey on the day of, and they've had to sit down and be really formal and speaking to people. People want to let loose and want to have a party, and without music to kind of back that up, it's very, very difficult to do that. So
I describe it as, when I talk about atmosphere being one of the things that is so vitally important to get right, because if you go to an event where the atmosphere is not right, you feel it. Like, that flatness is just horrid. We're not built to enjoy that. So for me, music is right up there to create the right atmosphere. and all through the day, not just for the party part, but just all the bits in between, just setting the tone, setting the mood. It's an easy win with music, I find.
We've noticed a lot at weddings as well. Sometimes we get people are very much just like, oh, we need you guys. When are you going to start? We want the first dance to start now because nothing's happening. And they're wanting the party to start. And naturally, we want it. You want to leave it a little bit longer. You want to leave it as late as possible for the party to have the full impact. But you look at those situations where they might finish their meal at 6 o'clock, and then they've kind of been sat around talking and having a drink, and it's 7:30, and the atmosphere it's starting to drop a little bit, and it's like nothing's going on. Now, could you imagine if there's another 3-4 hours of the evening and nothing's happening? Like people will be
checking out.
People will be going home at 8:30, 9, like and that'll be easy. It. So it definitely it makes a big difference at that point. It gives it. It's a
where all the
point.
Fun memories are made as well.
100%. We
all can think back to moments where ourselves have been on dance floors when that tune's come on and so's danced with you, and and if you get the bride and groom, I always say they're like celebrities of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, if you get to talk to the bride or the groom on their wedding day, you're like, oh my God, I actually got to speak to them. So if they're on the dance floor with you at that time, it's like, this is like magic.
That's one of our biggest bits of advice for a busy dance floor, really, is for couples, the bride and groom, to stay on the dance floor as much as possible. And we notice the difference in the atmosphere in the parties where they have or haven't done that, and the ones where they have. Last night is a prime example.
I was going to say last night.
Yeah. We're recording this on a Wednesday, people. If you're listening, happy Wednesday. But we did a gig last night on a Tuesday, which is not as normal, and you'd expect it to maybe be a bit flatter midweek. It absolutely wasn't, not at all. We put on a really good show for them. They had a damn good time, and a lot of it was because the bride and groom were front and center, singing along to every word, and then people wanted to party with them. So it makes a massive difference. So
that's a good nugget of advice.
We're full of good advice.
Yeah,
I like that.
We try in our set as well. We try and have a lot of moments. We don't just play songs. We try and do a lot of things in it, and we can't give too much away because a lot of it's a surprise. But there's bits where we'll feature the bride and groom, or we'll even just saying like make some noise for the bride and groom. Just them being there, it creates those like little moments and things that happen, and they'll remember those bits in the night where they've become part of the show. And again, it's like you talk about, they're like celebrities for the day, aren't they? It's their sort of thing, and it makes it really special.
And sometimes when I tell them that, they're like, oh, God, that sounds awful. I'm like, nah, you're going to love it.
A few drinks in, they'll be fine.
You're going to hate it. Yeah. Once you're wearing the best outfit you've probably ever worn in your life. You're looking $1 million. Everybody's giving you all that attention, right? You'll own it by the end. I don't care what personality type you are. You're going to be living like a celebrity by the end of it. So just roll with it, okay? So there's a few things that when I'm chatting to clients, so I'm helping them in their planning process, and there's a few things that I always advise. So some people might have not even started on the process of choosing. So often the big question is are you a band kind of couple or a DJ kind of couple? Most of the time I'd say they're both. They want an element of both going on. And the first bit of advice I give them is a bit of homework. So I'll say, spend a night together, have a couple of drinks, put your music on and start making a playlist. Start thinking about what tone are you going with? What are your tunes? Spend an evening. Go delve deep into social media or YouTube or something to do the research, find a band, find a sound, just spend an evening working on it. Instead of just kind of randomly trying to pick from the internet and not remembering which was the one that did that and who said that. Like, really focus in for a night and have fun with it, like enjoy it, play it out loud, But that, I feel like, does that work from your point of view? If they've already kind of got their head around what they want?
Yeah, I think there are definitely people that are like band or DJ, or I guess it's more sort of like live music or dance techno clubbing kind of, what do you do for
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good night
yeah.
out? Do you go to a gig or do you go to a club? What as a couple? But I think a couple will generally know what their group are like as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so for example, like Joey's getting married next year, and if he suddenly decided that he was a mad
Oh,
house fan, like he wouldn't book a house DJ because most of his friends are musicians and go to live gigs. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
yeah,
thinking about what's going
yeah,
to make a special party on the night for you. Like
yeah, yeah,
as a musician, as a band, I'm fully aware that there are groups of people that wouldn't get into what we do. If
yeah,
their idea of a festival is like Creamfields, or they're going to like they're going to clubs till 4 a.m. and dancing to rave music, they're not going to get into us. Those kind of people should
yeah,
get a DJ. Um, but I definitely feel, again, we're massively biased. Like I think something live music is more of an event. It's more of a
yeah,
focal point. It's more of like something is happening right there. People are performing. People are doing things. I think it makes it more special.
yeah, yeah. There's an entertainment element, isn't
Yeah.
there? Because back in the day, I still like going proper clubbing. I love it. I can't help it. It's built in me. But I never used to understand why people had all faced the DJ. Like,
Because he's doing that while he
you
plays
know,
his record.
yeah, one hand, one fist pump, and everybody goes mad. You're like, really? No, no, don't really get it. No, I'm going to face the other way because actually, looking at all those weirdos in the crowd is actually more interesting than what he's doing.
There's been a
So
big
get it,
rise.
but this,
I was gonna say there's been a
go
big
on.
rise though recently, like for that kind of people like sax and DJ, or like sax and
Yeah,
percussion,
yeah,
live singers with a DJ and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of like the crossover, isn't it? Of,
yeah.
look,
But it's adding an element of entertainment,
exactly.
isn't
It's
it?
it's somebody
Yeah.
getting up there, someone doing something, someone interacting with the dance floor and with the crowd that are dancing.
Yeah.
I think it
And
just makes it
that
special.
for me is the big thing. So what I class as good bands, they have not just the entertainment factor or the good sound or anything, but it's that interaction. I love it seeing a band be part of either physically or verbally drawing the crowd in instead of just I am here and I'm performing and there is a
Yeah.
screen between us. That like level of interaction, I I I really appreciate it when I see it from my couples. My yes,
That's great to
and
hear.
this
That
is
is exactly
yeah,
what we pride ourselves on and what the whole band is about. And even talking about Dirtbag Entertainment with the agency that we're doing and the bands we manage, that is the main line ethos running through everything that we do is that interaction and that energy. And we very much get involved. We are as
yeah,
much a part of the party as everyone else. And yes, getting involved physically is
yeah,
absolutely a part of it because we go out on the dance floor and yeah, getting properly stuck in.
yeah, and it's fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Like if you could go to every gig and that happened, you would you'd well I'd be at gigs all the time because
It's
it
it's
does
it's
get boring just watching.
it's one of the things we say to all of our bands. Like, I mean, they're all handpicked for a reason. They're all like lively and in your face and energetic. But very early on in every conversation with a band, we're like, "Have you all got wireless packs on your guitars?" And if someone has it, it's like, get one.
Yeah,
Get a wireless pack because
yeah.
you need to be on the
This
dance
is a
floor more
thing.
than you're on the stage. And people love it.
Yeah.
It's like I'd say we probably spend like 60% of our show on the dance floor rather than on the actual stage.
I love
And
it.
yes, people will always try and pluck your strings and grab things and do it, but it's part of the
They want to
fun.
turn into their own little rocker.
Oh, they love
No, no,
it. Yeah.
no, dude. Air guitar is fine, but maybe step away from the real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's
Um, yeah, I think the other thing that I always mention is so when you're looking at music throughout the day, and if they're creating their playlist or they're talking to the musicians, often they'll have like acoustic or like minimal musicians for the ceremony or drinks reception. And my thing is always to build the tempo through the day. So the ceremony is very chilled, the mood's quite light, but if you're going to then drinks reception, you might go up a gear, then there might be music playing behind the meal, go up a gear, when you come out of that, if you've got like a cocktail hour, up it again, so that by the time you get to the dance floor, that they're on track, like they're ready for the next level.
The energy of the music directly correlates to how drunk people are. Like,
Yeah,
it's as simple as that, it's like
yeah, it
and
is.
as the day starts, it's people have had one or two drinks, but it starts building up and building up. And you don't sort of
Yeah,
you don't get in people's
it's got to
face.
reflect the mood, hasn't it?
If
Yeah.
we don't do the ceremony fully wireless and like jumping around the aisle and like, well, let's go, it's like, although
Why
with some
don't we?
clients,
Oh,
mean,
I
you
would
could-
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
If we shot
It's
a
a very
promo
different style
video,
ceremony.
we could get like set up a fake wedding. They're just walking down the aisle. Then we just come in, just kick over some chairs, just go crazy. We
Do
love
it.
that.
We're not, because we've done some wedding breakfasts and a couple of drinks receptions where people have said, like, we don't just want like acoustic music in the background, we want to like party. And
Yeah.
again, it goes back to what I was saying about knowing your crowd of people, because there's certainly
Yeah.
there's weddings that I can think of that if we'd have done like that party wedding breakfast, it wouldn't have worked. But the ones that have
Yeah.
asked for it, and we've had them like a bit like singing waiters would at had them like swinging things
Yeah,
around and
yeah.
up on the tables and like conga lines
Yeah.
around the tables, and it just it sets the
It's
tone.
knowing the right. It's knowing the right. Well, it's understanding the tone that you want to set as well,
Totally.
isn't it? Where do you feel? Because some people, they want the ceremony to be like 5 minutes over and done. Like, that's not. But some people actually, they want to elongate that ceremony and get really kind of emotional with it and have lots involved. So the music has to reflect that vibe, doesn't it? Cool.
Advice that I often give people, I think maybe ties into what we're saying there, is when you're looking at your music for the day though as well, is to work backwards with regards to your budget. So often people might have set a figure on what they're going to spend on musical entertainment. And if you lump a lot of that in the daytime and then you're trying to get an evening band, but you've kind of run out a lot of budget, you might find that you struggle. And then the day will fall flat. We're building up. We're just talking about building up throughout the day. And so I often say to people, like, work backwards, book your evening band, because you might find that the perfect evening band for the party is like right at the top end of your budget, but you really want them. But then you can, I'm not going to say cut corners in the daytime, but you don't have to have live music during the drinks reception. You don't have to have live music. You can do a decent playlist if you've got that perfect band at night. Or you might find that you find the perfect band that's a bit less and you've got a bit more, do you know what I mean? And sort of work it back. Or you find a band that can do it all.
I do it the other way. I go, right, if you find a band, so the aim of the game for me is to have as few number of suppliers as possible, because logistically and that email ping pong is going to be a lot less if you can just rely on few people. So I'll say, right, if you found that band, great. And often, like with you guys, I've worked with you before, so I kind of know what questions I can ask and where I can push things. So I'll say to a couple, right, you've booked this band, they're great, but also there's a few musicians in that band, for example. So why don't you ask if it's possible for maybe two of them to be the acoustic performance for the drinks reception? So that they're already coming up anyway. They probably haven't got a gig on before your evening due anyway. So instead of paying money out for somebody else to come in, you've already got this band. Mm-hmm. Why don't you ask them? Ask the question. See if actually they can fill in some of those gaps for you. Because it means they're already on site. They could even start getting set up earlier. There might be flex then.
Yeah, it's definitely it's what we do a lot as well. Is we'll do the drinks reception, we'll do the ceremony, and it's quite good because we get to know people when we're there all day as well. So you know what's going to work later on, which is quite cool.
I always make a line in the evening.
And you get a good feel for the venue as well.
Absolutely.
You get to know everybody there.
It's always funny when we've played the ceremony and everyone's so nice. In the evening party when people are stumbling over and whatever, I always make a comment of like, you guys were all so civilized a few hours ago. Like, what happened?
What happened? It's like, oh, is that cocktail hour? Oh, yeah. There's a few things as well that I think people kind of forget to ask for the band, or forget to consider when they're planning in these type of things. So there's one thing is always food. Like, if you guys are around all day, or if you're there for evening food, then allocating something for you lot, or a tab behind the bar to get just, drinks when you need them. I'm not saying like bottles of wine, but
I explain it
the
to a lot
odd
of people.
drink
It's like
is
we might
good.
have a pint in the break, and
Yeah.
a soft drink, but often,
Is
if
that
you're gonna,
is that all right?
yeah,
Yeah.
often, if you've got to pay £6 a pint or whatever, it's a bit like, oh,
The,
and then
the
there's four
reality
of
is
us,
with the food and drink stuff is that like we're not divas and bands shouldn't be in. We've turned up and
Yeah.
we've done plenty of weddings without it where, we just kind of have water and is what it is. But it helps us perform better. I know it sounds really stupid, but if you're kind of feeling looked after and you've been fed and
Yeah.
watered and stuff, we just have like we put all the energy into it that we have basically every single wedding, but it gives us that
Yeah.
extra few percent to like really give it more. And it's a very small thing that you could do to get quite a lot more out of your band, to be honest. So
And often it's, for supply meters in general, you're not playing the full whack because they're not sitting down and having a 3-course meal. It's just something, an allocation
I couldn't
somewhere.
sing 2 hours of music after a 3-course meal anyway. So yeah, I
No,
just need
God,
something. So yeah.
even after one, like I used to be able to ride a whole wedding on a banana and a pack of mini cheddars, and I'm too old. I can't do it. I just
One
can't survive it anymore.
one of my favorite things, and it was last year, the year before, but like the bride and groom, they got like a cool box, and they filled it just like with sandwiches, sausage rolls, bottles of water,
Oh,
crisps, and it was great because we could sort of get it when we wanted. And you
yeah.
didn't have to feel guilty like chasing up the caterers like, oh, have you got us something, and stuff like that. It just
Even
meant, and it was,
The most
Laura,
awkward
when
part
she
of
did
any
it for
wedding.
us in Newcastle, she left a little goodie bag just full of
oh
like some
yeah,
kind of energy treats and stuff. So I was like in the
Oh,
can and just this serene loaf, literally like she knew the stuff we needed. Just like this is a little energy bag of
yeah.
goodies for you
I
guys.
love
So that really
that.
kept us going because we traveled a long way for that one, longer than we normally would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Uh,
completely buzzing.
yeah.
You see, in the venues I look after, I try to make sure there's a room. So you
Yes.
guys having a space to get changed. I mean, I wanted a wedding where it was a marquee. There was no room to get changed. And the band did go a bit diva because they refused to get changed in the massive van that they'd bought. And I was like, well, I haven't got anywhere
To
else.
be fair, again with us, I've been shirtless in many a car park over the past few years. Just like I'm used to it now, and we all do it, and we don't really
Yeah.
care, and it is what it is. But if we have a room, it is nice, just to
It's
kind of like
nice,
warm
yeah.
up and chill out, and to get away from
Your own
everything because
special
it's quite
green
intense.
room.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
call it a green room, but yeah, any room anywhere is like totally cool. But it's what it is.
Yeah. The other thing is not just space for getting changed, but actual space for the band to be in. I think people, I'm guilty of this. That when I first started out, I underestimated the space that a band needs. I was like, oh, we can just squash you in that bit, right? And you kind of had it in your head that it'll be like, well, here's a space for one person to stand, and here's a space for another person to stand. And you're like, no, oh my god, there's
Guitars,
so much more.
speakers, lights, amps, like
Yeah,
everything. It's drum kit. It takes up
It's
like the
kind of
space of a
like,
few people.
it's a bloody big space.
it's a bit of an industry joke amongst musicians that you'll turn up to a venue and it's like, oh, the band normally sets up there, and it's just like a small corner.
Postage stamp.
It's like, yeah, you're just like,
And
all
I think
right,
it's
okay.
worse when there's a stage, because a stage, if it is too small, you're even
You're
more
stuck with it.
limited. You
Yeah.
can't even push back. And often I find bands aren't that fussed about being that high up. They don't.
We prefer not
it
having a
doesn't
stage.
make it.
Full
Yeah.
transparency.
It's
We
easier
prefer
to
not
get on the
because we
dance
get
floor with
stuck
no
in.
stage. You just like sit straight there. But
Yeah, you're in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're in then, aren't you?
we can perform in really tight spaces, and we do. When we were in the lakes on Saturday, it was like a really tight space, and it's fine. But you will get more out of us if we've got lots of room.
Yeah.
You get more of a show.
I think you do. It's nice to have a bit of space around you,
Yeah,
because in front of you is so packed.
yeah.
So feeling like you're not just completely hemmed in.
It's
Must-
hard to spin around with a
gives you a
bass
bit-
guitar without taking out your singer if you've got a tiny space.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry, did it again.
I don't know how we've not
Oops.
injured each other yet after all the antics that we've done. We've just been very good at kind of like, I've always kind of on my periphery just watching what you guys are doing when I'm singing to make sure that if I step back that I'm not going to like knock someone out or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other thing is, it's the logistical part. It's, where are you parking? Where's the power source? How are they loading in? How are you unloading? All these bits and pieces that for me, from my side of things, I know how important that is to
Yeah.
just make it flow nice and easy. you know, a band setting up should be kind of disguisable. You know,
Yes.
I want
want
it to be discreet and quick and quiet.
We love that illusion of like you leave the room gets redressed, we go in, you don't notice us going in, we set up loads of equipment, we come in loads of bags, boxes, we set it all up, we sound check, then you come back in and it's all transformed and it's like a gig. We love that. And again, when you say about having a room, it's like the band can hide a little bit. We like being out of the way and then like, boom, here we are. You know, it's quite cool.
Ta-da!
But a big one, you know, the logistics is like, yes, there's the loading in. Yes, there's the sound check, but there's the time that it takes. Like we encounter this every week where we're given a time to load in. You guarantee it's not that time. It's going to be later. Everything runs late at a wedding. We know that. It's perfectly fine. We know things run late, but we still need an hour to load in and set up and get everything ready. So it gets difficult. And most venues are fine, but there are some venues that come in and like, guys, the first dance is in 15 minutes. It's like, we've literally just brought our stuff in. You know, you've got everything else has run late. Let us run a little bit later. You know? It's
I find the most difficult part for me when I'm having to hurry things along is, you know, you mentioned the gap. So the gap between the end of the meal and the first dance. Like for me, I'm assessing the crowd because I'm going, right, hold on. If it's glorious weather outside, right, we can stretch this out because they're not going to come in. Or they're going to come in, do the first dance, and they're going to go back outside anyway. So can we push it back? Or you have the reverse, where actually they're keen, like they're dancing to the background music.
Yeah.
I mean, like if we don't get them soon, they're gonna bore. Yeah. They're gonna go downhill, and I'm not gonna get them in. So can we go quicker? Because I can tell the mood's right, and we've got to jump on it. So I'm always playing I always like to leave loads of time in that gap so I can play around with it a bit, you know, and just assess what's going on. Which means I can be the person who's a complete pain coming into the band going,
well, you know, I shouldn't tell you this, but in reality, we can load in, set up and have everything ready in 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on the loading. However...
But it's not a good vibe though, is it?
No, it's a bit rushed. You know, we need to make sure everything's right.
Feel good.
And we need to make sure things are working and correct and there's no issues and stuff like that. You know, so if you want it to be perfect, like, you know, a band needs an hour.
Plot it out.
Yeah, do it that way.
So in the last moments of having you guys on, I feel like I could chat about so many other things. There's so many things.
You have to get us on again, Annabel. We'll come on again.
We don't have to do it again. We just have to do it again. But tell the world, on my few downloads, please, can you tell them, how do we find you?
Absolutely. Well, definitely check out the band, the Hustle Band UK, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the places, or just hit up the hustleband.co.uk on the internet. And please do check out Dirtbag Entertainment Agency as well. Just Google it. You'll find the website, you'll find Instagram, you'll find TikTok, find Facebook. You'll see all the fun stuff we're up to, see some awesome bands. And yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
And send us a message.
Thanks so much, guys.
If you're looking for a band, drop us a message and we'll have a chat and we'll help.
Or talk to me and I'll advise.
Thank
you so much. This has been a hoot. I hope to see you again soon. I'm really chuffed. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Much love. Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Annabel. Speak soon.
The next episode for Weddings by Annabel is all about activity ideas. So this is how to keep certain guests happy with activities, not just chat, eating, drinking, dancing, etc. Listen in, episode 10 coming soon. If you would like some further advice or help or more information on Weddings by Annabel, or would like to be involved in the podcast, then email us via the website weddingsbyannabel.co.uk or find us on Instagram, Facebook or LinkedIn. Okay, bye.